This LS460 has 300,000 miles on it, but time is starting to take its toll. Let's find out what's wrong with it. Let's get started. This is a 2009 Lexus LS460, and you guys know from previous videos I really don't recommend these in the Lexus brand because they are so complicated and expensive to work on. Jared from the Questionable Garage, who used to be a Toyota Master Tech, tells me he remembers in his days at the Toyota dealership that really none of the Toyotas or Lexuses that came in were that big of a deal, but when an LS460 came in, they would argue over who gets to work on it because they hated it. They absolutely hated working on them. There's so many gadgets and so many gizmos and so much stuff packed in this car, and everything is $3 grand, $5 grand, $7 grand. It's so expensive. But even knowing that, this one has made it 300,000 miles. Let's take a look around this really nice LS460. It's got some steering issues, and we found something else as well. So here's the front of this LS460, and it is black in color, but with the high miles on it, you would think it would look a lot worse, but it appears to only have 100, maybe 150,000 miles on it. It does have some nice 18-inch wheels on it. Those are also in very good shape, no scratches, no dings. This car has been taken care of, I can tell, but there's a few things piling up on it. It's going to cost a lot of money here pretty quick. Again, no damage or dings. Really, I don't even see any hail dents or anything on it, so really good condition for 300,000 miles. Let's go ahead and hop under the hood. Oh wow, there's a camera in the windshield right there. And seeing the front camera on this car reminds me of something I've got to show you on my Jeep. I'm so excited to get this down to the desert and explore the trails around Las Cruces. Here in Kansas, we don't have many places to go off-roading. Farmers really don't appreciate their crops being trampled. One thing that will make navigating the rocky trails down there easier is this new G900 Tri-Pro bumper camera I got from my sponsor, Wolfbox. This G900 Tri-Pro is so easy to install. The front 4K camera simply straps onto your existing mirror. The 1080p HD bumper camera has a bracket that makes attaching it to the front plate so easy. You just have to run lines along the firewall and windshield to the mirror dash cam. And finally, the 2.5K rear camera. You can choose the best place to mount this camera. It uses strong adhesive to fix it to your vehicle. Of course, you will hide all the cables along the interior to the dash cam. Final step is power. It can be hardwired to your fuse box or plug it into a cigarette lighter. That's it. The G900 Tri-Pro is ready. I can choose which one camera I want to view at any time or all three. It even has voice control that will help when I need both hands and eyes on the road, but I need to switch cameras or record. Let's test it out. There's a nice pothole over here. I like the view the bumper cam has, especially as we get close to it. Whether you're off-roading or braving the streets of your town, this G900 Tri-Pro has you covered. Check out the links in the description below and get your Wolfbox G900 Tri-Pro. Now back to that Lexus. Man, I can't wait to get my Jeep down to the desert mountains, but let's take a look at this Lexus. As you can see, tons of plastic everywhere. Now this one does have some oil leaks, I think it does, and one thing, we can take this cover off, which really doesn't attach anymore. One of the reasons I mentioned that Jared said the mechanics didn't like working on this, the valve cover gaskets are leaking really bad. But you can't just pop them off like any other car because you have your direct injection pumps for your fuel system right there, which is also leaking oil. And just to get down to the valve cover gasket, there's pipes and hoses and wires and pipes and hoses and wires, and air cleaners have to come out. It is a tremendous undertaking just to do valve cover gaskets. I think it pays 6 or 8 hours, just labor, not including parts. And I remember talking to Jared about it, and he goes, oh, it takes every bit of that and maybe even more. He just reiterated to me again, he goes, we really didn't like working on these in the service department. They're an awesome car. I respect the car. I'm not knocking the car. They ride so good. They drive great. But they crammed a little too much technology and gadgets and things into this. It's just almost overkill. Let's let Mrs. Wizard show you guys around the interior. It is very classy.
Wow, when the Wizard said it's at 300,000 miles, yeah, it was at 300,050 miles ago. Wow. You are going to be so impressed with this interior. It is so nice, and it smells actually very nice in here. But everything is looking good. Of course, it's got lights on because we're in accessory mode. I didn't have the engine started, but you know, just simple to read, easy. Gauge cluster. I'll go ahead and turn off that key to save the battery. And if we look at our dash, look, It's really clean up here. I'm so impressed. It is so clean in here. Everything looking just beautiful. The wood is in good shape. We've got just all the little doors just slide open, smooth as butter. You open this cup holder, yeah, just slides open and catches beautifully. Love it. Very simple to read and easy to use. You know, buttons for our HVAC, for our infotainment screen. We've got our nice creature comforts here for our heated and cooled seats. We lift up the center section, which slides elegantly back. It looks like they use State Farm, but look at that. It closes on its own. I'll do that again. It's so much fun. It just slides back, and then you kind of get it here, and it's just like self-closing drawers in your kitchen. Beautiful. The seats are ivory like everything else in here, and it does have perforated leather in the center with solid on the sides. Our door card, we are showing a little bit of wear there. Okay, we've got a little bit of marking on that door handle, but it's been pushed and opened and pulled so many times in those 350 miles. And here's what's absolutely going to shock you. They've had a toddler in here. Yes, they have a toddler that rides in this car. Do you see any, dried up, Cheerios or French fries? Nope. Even the floor below them and the carpet is in immaculate condition. This thing is just a beautiful, beautiful car. Oh, the steering wheel's too far away. Watch this. That's right. This still works. Yeah, so many times some little gadgets like this, the ease in, ease out feature of many cars, that's one of those things that can easily break. Not on this one. We've got simple controls there for, controls for that screen up ahead and for calls and whatnot. And back here we have our controls for our cruise control, and we have some volume controls back behind here as well. So looking really, really good in here. I am in such shock. So enough of this interior talk. Let's get this on a lift and see if we can see evidence of that valve cover leaking. I bet we can. I bet it's a mess.
So lots and lots of plastic underneath the front end of this car. There's no coolant or anything leaking in the radiator area, which definitely want to check for that with a car with 300,000 miles on it. But as we move back, we see quite a bit of oil leaking, kind of collecting all in this area on the sway bar. It's dripping off of these bolts and also pouring down the firewall. It's being blown over that way. The oil pan itself is not leaking, nothing going on there. I don't see any rear main seal leak type thing going on, but again on this side, same situation. Oil is coming down off the valve covers and leaking all over the place here. One thing the customer was concerned about is the steering feels a little wishy-washy, and when they're stopping, it feels kind of loose, like something's loose in the front end. I actually already inspected this a minute ago, and I found it was really easy to find. Take a look. Now this wasn't caused by oil leaking onto it, it's just age, but the rubber is torn. This should be centered right here. It's shifted all the way over. The rubber is completely severed in half, and the whole arm is shifted over. And same thing on this side as well. This is our lower control arm, the rearward facing one, and the rubber is completely separated from that bushing. Like I said, it should be right around in here, not all the way up against this bracket. So those are completely destroyed. Luckily, it can't come off and cause a wreck or something, but the alignment, the ride, everything is severely affected by that. Let's go ahead and check the brakes and everything else, but definitely those lower control arms are done. Our brakes are about 50% remaining. Our upper strut is not leaking. Sway bar link is good. Everything else looks okay. Ride height sensor is intact. Brakes are good over here. Strut is not blown. Sway bar link is good. I don't see any serious issues other than these control arms are completely blown out. Luckily, those aren't going to be too difficult to do. We'll take a look also when we have it apart to see if the forward control arms, which are right here, if their bushings are bad as well. They may need all 4 control arms. We'll take a look here pretty soon. But the oil leak is something we're going to let the customer know about. We'll see if they want to do it. It's going to be incredibly expensive to replace. And being that we're moving here soon, we're kind of winding down things here. We're not going to be doing huge dives into engines right now. So we'll see what they want to do with that. Here's our transmission. It doesn't appear to be leaking really, maybe a tiny bit right here. But being that it has 300,000 miles on it, we will not, absolutely not, be servicing this transmission. I've said it so many times. After about 150,000 miles, if you haven't serviced your transmission, we're not going to do it. Guys, I've seen it with my own eyes at a shop I used to work at. A mentor said, watch what happens. I'm going to service this 200,000 mile transmission and it's going to start slipping. And it did. So I learned my lesson there. I don't dive into that. Here's our flex disc. It actually appears to be good. No cracks, nothing leaking from the back of the transmission there. So we do have true duals all the way back. They don't really connect with each other except for a little crossover right here, kind of like an X-pipe or whatever. We have some resonators here, and then here's our big, beefy differential. We do see this tiny bit of seepage from the CV shaft here. Probably not enough to really warrant a teardown yet, but definitely keep an eye on that. Nothing leaking from the differential itself. Our back brakes are about 40% remaining. The shock is not blown. I don't see any torn rubber, any bad bushings or anything on these control arms. These CV boots are good. Everything else looks good. 40% of the brakes. The shock is not blown. Our sway bar is way up here. And it's not loose either. This back flex disc does have some tiny little cracks in it. We'll let the customer know about that as well. It's nothing dangerous. It's going to cause an issue right now, but that may be something to look at into the future. And these exhaust ports here are kind of the only trim on here that's really chrome or shiny, kind of a silvery color. But like I said, true duals out the back. For 300,000 miles, it really isn't that bad underneath this car. I'm really surprised. Let's get this thing on the ground. So all in all, I didn't find as much as I thought I would. For 300,000 miles, I'm pleasantly surprised. It does have a very complex job to do with the valve cover gaskets. Actually, Junior Mint did the last set on one of these that was in the shop, and after he got it all apart, even he came up to me and he goes, Wizard, I really don't want to do another one of those. That was insane. So we'll let them know about it. Again, it may be something they'll have to fix later down the road, but we definitely have to get those control arms taken care of. They are destroyed. They are bad. And I'm thinking to get those control arms, and they want an oil change and maybe a few other things, it's going to be $1,000, $1,500, somewhere around in there or less. Possibly less, hopefully a lot less. I don't know the exact number right now, but these parts, again, on these cars, on the LS460s, are expensive. Almost as much as BMW and Mercedes. I mentioned in the past when we filmed one of these that when you go to get one of these repaired, expect BMW and Mercedes-Benz prices to get it serviced and repaired. It's going to be right there with one of those cars. It's because all of the technology and all the gadgets and gizmos that are on it really only apply to this car. They don't use them anywhere else, and they are kind of specialty in a way. Very, very expensive. But we'll get these few things fixed. Really, like I said, it doesn't need a whole lot. There is a lot of life left in this LS460, a lot. I could see it making to 400,000 miles. I really can. Does it hurt anything to have the oil leak? No. Some people could say it could be a fire hazard or something, but really it takes a lot to make oil catch on fire. And it could go quite a while longer with the oil leak, but it is going to have to be done at some point. I think the last time we did it, it was clear over $1,000 because of all the labor. Most valve cover gaskets are $200, $300, $400. This one's going to be triple that. It's just going to be very expensive. But again, I'm not knocking the LS460s. I love them. They're beautiful cars. They ride so good. They're Lexus's version of a 7 Series BMW. That's really what they are. And it rides just as good as one. It's just as nice as a 7 Series. And the repairs are just as expensive. Most Lexus vehicles I recommended in the past, they can be a little bit expensive or more expensive to repair than your common Chevy or Ford or whatnot. But these really take the cake for being one of the most expensive Lexuses to repair. Unless you get into the LFA or something crazy like that. But most people aren't driving those around, going grocery shopping or going on vacations in them. So definitely want to get a video out there to show you guys this nice 300,000 mile LS460. And if you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to work on this, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. A lot of the tools we use every day, tried and true, are listed for sale there. And if you purchase any of them, we get a small cut and we really appreciate it. And before you go, make sure to hit the subscribe button because there's many more videos to come and a notification bell. Thanks for watching.